6.5 years ago, a new news organization launched in Boston. Global Post wanted to cover the world and thought the public would pay for excellent foreign reporting. Now, Global Post has a new owner, which shows in part how hard some of that vision was to realize. Adam has more.
Powerful photographs, video and audio converging to create a new way to tell the stories of the world.
When Global Post launched in 2009, it aimed high and delivered.
Our army kill us randomly. He killed everything, no difference.
Over the years, Global Post's on-location video series won multiple awards. And just this month, the site published big pieces on the Syrian refugee crisis and priests accused of sexual abuse hiding out in Latin America. Still, CEO Phil Balboni feared the future was untenable.
I needed to find an answer for the long-term future of Global Post while we were still strong and while I was still here to do it.
Online advertising rates bottomed out, Balboni says. And what's more,
the ability to get people to pay for news, subscriptions, has proven to be an enormous disappointment for the journalism industry.
After considering several possible deals, Balboni and his principal partners decided WGBH was the best option.
Sharing the same values with whatever organization we might partner with or be acquired by, that was top of the list of concerns for us. It wasn't really about money.
In the months ahead, 9 staffers will be folded into Public Radio International, a WGBH-affiliated company. But Balboni says the Global Post brand will survive.
All stories reported by Global Post will be branded for Global Post, both on the air and online. I believe they're planning a daily podcast. There will be a daily newsletter that is going to be renamed for Global Post.
Which means the promise Balboni made nearly 7 years ago remains intact.
We cannot fail, and we will not fail.
This has got to be heartbreaking for Phil Balboni. I know you spoke to him today. I remember when we first interviewed him about this, he said, you know, Emily, he said, people have to get over this idea that everything's for free. Everything is not for free. And, you know, people unfortunately expect it all for free. And if they were asking to pay, you know, I think a couple $100s a month for the full website.
Was it that much?
Yeah.
Actually, I never subscribed.
Or a year, maybe, a year, yeah.
And I actually feel a little bad that, you know, they're not going away entirely. They're just being folded into PRI. I always felt like I didn't really check them as much as I should have, because whenever I did, they had really, really terrific stuff. In terms of whether Phil Balboni is heartbroken about this outcome, just on the basis of our conversation today, I don't think he is. He struck me as being at peace with the way this has played out and the fact that, GBH and PRI are going to be taking over. But the one time he did show real emotion, I asked him what he was most proud of in terms of the work they've done over the years, and he cited the war reporting. The one name he mentioned was James Foley, and immediately he grew sort of really choked up. So clearly that is still something that he still grows very sad thinking about.
I thought about James Foley a lot with this news, and Global Post was always so strong in support of him and in all of their correspondence. But it is such a treacherous world for foreign correspondents right now, and especially freelance foreign correspondents, that I feel like the more institutional backing you have, the better when you go out into the field. So I think for their correspondents, this has got to be good news to have a couple of big institutions behind you.
You know, I would say that given that we're in an era of experimentation and in an era where people are probably not building 100-year legacy news organizations, I think you'd have to say that Global Post was a success. They did great work for 6.5 years. They won a ton of awards. They have everyone's respect. And just because they weren't able to go past the 6.5-year point as an independent news organization does not equal failure by any means.
No, but it's about a business model, Dan.
It would have been nice if they'd been able to go on and on. But I think that for the time that they were independent, they were a complete success, and hopefully they'll continue to be a success under the WGBH umbrella.
I was one that thought that the business model would be attractive to people in business, actually, to understand how much the world is changing every day around the world. Seemed to me to be important news, if not for just folk, but for folk who have to do business. And now we have to do business globally. So I have to say I'm a bit surprised that that piece of it did not pick up in the way that I thought it would. I know they were trying to go, had a piece of the business going in that direction. But as for the other work, of course it was fabulous, and, you know, a great place to land is the world here at WGBH, and they'll be able to take advantage of all of those assets. And so there is a future.